There we go.
Thank you, guys. So due to a number of technical hitches this evening, I'm doing the presentation. It's different from anything you've seen before, and it's because I like to do presentations on PowerPoint. A lot of people take the mickey because they say that it's just sort of old-fashioned or so last century. But I like it simply because it means that everything I want to say is in the slides. I don't forget things. All the videos I want are already embedded. So I don't need to search around the internet and can't find what I'm looking for and so on. So hence the PowerPoint presentation. But I'm going to get through it as quickly as possible. The disclaimer is that nothing in this presentation constitutes legal or financial advice. If you think I've advised you about something, I haven't. Your results will be affected by the crypto markets, and therefore any earnings or prices stated are not guaranteed, but are given for illustration purposes only. The reason I say that is because the company documentation is slightly confusing in that they give prices 1 minute in Bitcoin, and then they give the next price in dollars, and then they try and draw a percentage comparison between the two, and it's not quite right. So I just want you to know that that can change because the price of Bitcoin can change compared to the dollar. You are responsible for carrying out your own due diligence. Okay, and that includes whether or not to get involved with BitHarvest and how much money you'll spend initially and over a period of time. In this presentation, I'm going to cover the company and why it was created, the bit boosters and what they do, passive earnings and how to grow passively, the compensation plan and potential earnings by team building, registration and how to get started, how to use the back office, and keeping in touch with the BitHarvest community. If we run out of time, I want to try and keep this down to an hour. We've already lost a little bit of time. Then those last 3 points may well go, and we'll have to cover them off some other way. So what do you want? Why are you here? What are you looking for? Why does anybody want to do anything? Build any sort of business? Why does anybody want to have an online business? Why do we even struggle to try and make more money than we did before? Why do we want to get ahead? Okay, why don't we just shut up and sit down, stop making a fuss? Just, sit in the corner quietly and wait 70 years for them to put us in a box. Okay, why don't we just do that? It'd be much easier, because there's a percentage of the people who aren't happy to do that. They realize that life is for living. The world is here for us to experience. Okay, unfortunately, there are forces conspiring against us doing that. And so what it means is, for example, a good example is if you have a bicycle and you just sit on the bicycle, there's no resistance at all. You can sit there all day long and you won't get any resistance. But when you try to go somewhere, when you try to cycle somewhere, you feel the headwind build up. Okay, you feel the resistance now because the world doesn't want you to move. It wants you to sit still. And the faster you try to go, the more the resistance is, until you get to a point where the headwind is strong enough to stop you going any faster. Okay, and so life is a lot like that. Success is a lot like that. We want to get ahead. We want to move ahead and do something with our lives. But the more we try, the harder we try, then the more resistance we get. Now, what can make a difference is the type of vehicle you have. If your vehicle is a bike, a bicycle, then you're exposed to all the elements, and that you feel that resistance. It slows you down quite dramatically. If you've got a motorbike, of course, then you can get a lot further, a lot faster, but you still get all that resistance. So you get yourself a Ferrari, and a Ferrari is even better at getting you where you want to go. But of course, if you want to go very far, then you want to have your own Learjet, okay, or your own you own jet, because then you wouldn't feel any resistance at all because you're flying above the atmosphere and there's very little resistance up there. So what do you want? Why would you go to all the trouble of going against this resistance? Why not just sit still and shut up and get back to your corner? Because you want more in life. There's more to be had, and some of us just believe that that's what we want to do. If there's more to be had, we want some of it. So some of us want more money because we want more income. We want to be able to spend more money every day, every week, whatever. Some of us just want security. We're fed up of worrying about the price of things. We're fed up of being worried about government legislation and regulations that are that are coming against us. You know, we just want security, peace of mind. Some people call it peace of mind. In fact, I've added that to the list anyway. So just, you know, security. You might want long-term growth so that you have more success next year than you have this year. You might want to be involved in just a real-world asset. You want to be associated with something that when you're at cocktail parties, you can say to your friends, yes, I'm doing this. I've got shares in Microsoft. I've got Bitcoin. I've got boosters that does this. You know, I've got and all these real-world assets. That you can get involved with. And of course, there's a lot of things out there that aren't real world assets. You might just want growth anyway, you know, growth of your personal wealth, your generational wealth for your family, for future generations, for those who can't provide for themselves. That's a big motivator for most people, just being able to provide for those who can't look after themselves, you know, charitable works, that sort of thing. Okay, peace of mind, just lay your head on the pillow at night. You've got no worries, you know, everything's taken care of. And there's so many billions of people, literally billions of people, who are not in that position. Most people in the world are not in that position. They've got so much that they worry about, you know, that takes up their brain power, and they would have to have a little bit of peace of mind. Most people, certainly as you get a little bit older, you start thinking about how's anybody going to know you were here? You know, you don't want to just turn up and do your thing and drive on your side of the road and drink your bit of the milk and eat your bit of the food, and that's it until it's all over. Okay, we want to do something where we can pass on, if not to the world in general, if, you know, maybe not have statues erected for us in Piccadilly Circus or Times Square, maybe not that much of a legacy, but just something where we pass on to our children and our grandchildren, so they have some of these benefits we've made for ourselves. They can have some of those benefits as a result of what you do. Some people, leaving a legacy is the most important thing, but I think for most of us, leaving a legacy is certainly something. If not, then people wouldn't leave legacies to the Battersea Dogs Home or you know, some sort of children's charity in their will when they die. They just want to know that they've contributed something. So that's what you want. What do you want from the company? Well, you want the company to be reliable and supportive. And if you know anything about this company, then you know it is. I'm not going to go into that in too much detail. You want them to be legal and compliant. You don't want somebody just turning up and shutting them down because they're doing things that are a bit dodgy. Okay, you want the company to be providing something that's a real world application. There's so many businesses online where it's not a real world application. It's just numbers. It's just, you know, buy some of these imaginary horses and they can build some more imaginary horses, and then you just got to find some suckers to come and buy them from you, you know. And a lot of these schemes, they start out good fun. People make some money at it, but eventually people realize that it's not a real world application. There is no market for it. And you know, a lot of these things that where people are, we call them ROI scams, where, you know, you put $50 in and you get 5% back after 5 days. Nobody's doing anything with that. Nobody's trading. There's no real money changing hands. Arbitrage, no money's changing hands. It's not really going anywhere. They're just paying out the new people, so paying out the old people with the new people's money. And of course, that's not sustainable. At some point, it's all going to go pop. So if you're looking for something from the company, you want it to be a real world application. If they're trading, then you want to be able to verify the trading. If they're doing arbitrage actually does work. But it's so difficult to make money at arbitrage these days because everything's done by the computers in fractions of a second. You can't maintain prices that, you know, over a large investment portfolio. You can't maintain prices as you're moving money around. You just can't. The prices move too quickly. You want long-term viability. You want it to be here next year, you know, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years time. You don't want to build something now and then later it's gone and you've got to start building something else. And you want something that's simple to duplicate. You don't want to have to keep retraining yourself, retraining your people. You want something that once you've trained people, they stay trained. And in fact, in an ideal situation, as in BitHarvest, it's so simple, you don't actually have to teach people things. With the passive with the passive side of this business, you can help somebody get set up and they can walk away and just take their Bitcoin out every single day. And that's the end of it. They don't need to learn how to do anything except withdraw their Bitcoin. Okay, so you want it to be simple to duplicate. Now, there are only 4 ways to obtain Bitcoin. One of these is tongue-in-cheek, so I'm going to cut out the tongue-in-cheek bit. There's only 3 ways to obtain Bitcoin. One is to buy it, and trading is a variation of buying. The second is you take it in payment for your goods and services. So in the real world, you have a business, you do things, people pay you, but instead of paying you in dollars or pounds or yen, they pay you in Bitcoin. And the third way is to mine it. Okay, the most reliable, the most cost-effective, even though it's actually a very difficult and expensive operation to set up, mining it is the cheapest and most reliable to obtain Bitcoin. And I'm not going to go into the mechanics of the other 2 options, but just that's the way it is. BitHarvest has put ordinary people into pole position. I don't know if there's any racing fans. Pole position, best positioned on the field. Okay, where anyone who wants to can earn personal wealth from Bitcoin mining. Anyone who wants to. It doesn't matter if you've got how many arms and legs you've got. It doesn't matter your IQ or your socioeconomic situation, what country you live in, how much your friends love you or hate you, how many family members you've got. Nothing matters. Anyone can do Bitcoin mining using BitHarvest. Now, that's not the case if you want to do Bitcoin mining in itself in its purest form, where you need to invest large amounts of money into buying machines and keeping them updated and having electricity provided to them every single day. Okay, but for what we're doing, the boosting of that Bitcoin mining, anyone can do. Literally anyone can do it. So Bitcoin's been around since 2009, and many governments around the world ignored it until around 2016. Some of you know what happened in 2016 with one of the big mining farms. I'm not going to go into that, but when it came to their attention, they thought, oh, this looks good. I wonder how we can use it. I wonder how we can exploit it. And in particular, they thought, I wonder how we can control and regulate it so that nobody else can make money apart from the people we say can make money. And they've been able to do that by and large with lots of different cryptocurrencies. And a lot of those cryptocurrencies they put the thumb screws on have gone by the wayside. However, they can't touch Bitcoin because Bitcoin is not controlled by any single person, any single company, any single country, or any single organization at all. It's run on millions of computers around the world, and nobody can regulate Bitcoin. So earning or holding Bitcoin carries a certainty of wealth. Okay, it's just as simple as that. If you were to have, if you went back in time to when Microsoft was starting, and you knew in 2024 the price of Microsoft stock, okay, and back in 1984, I think they got started, you would buy a few $1 million worth of their stock. It has a certainty of wealth because you know the final outcome. You know where it's going. Okay, and similarly, we know where Bitcoin is going, only because it's the way that Bitcoin is set up demands that it will one day be $1 million per coin. One day it'll be $5 million per coin. One day it'll be 10, 15, $20 million per coin. And beyond that, okay, it will go beyond that. Now, I don't know the dates, I don't know when, but it's definitely going to happen. And some of the world's greatest experts, we'll talk about them in a minute if we get to that point, some of them predict those figures as well. So experts disagree on projected price, but they all agree that Bitcoin will appreciate in value massively in the coming years. So the company and why it was created. We have a long-term appreciation of Bitcoin's price, technology and market maturity, diversification of investment portfolio, and Bitcoin ecosystem boom. We haven't really seen a lot to do with the Bitcoin ecosystem, but it's coming. It's developing rapidly, and we're going to see Bitcoin really take the world by storm in the next 3, 4, 5 years. Bitcoin really is just getting started. You know, and I know you might think that's crazy because out of the 21 million Bitcoin, we've already mined something like 17 or 18 million. Okay, but that's just the startup. That's just a warm-up act. What's coming next is going to blow your socks off. So we have some price projections. I said some of the experts are talking about this. Second Chartered Bank, one of the major multinational banks in the UK, says that Bitcoin is going to be hit 150,000 in 2024, 250,000 in 2025. And a lot of people have been looking at that saying, well, I don't know, you know, it's still down around 56,000, 65, you know, 60,000, somewhere around there. Well, we've just seen a big leap up. What is it right now? 72, something like that, 73. Okay, and so it could still hit 150,000 in 2024. And if not, then it'll be early next year. Robert Kiyosaki, one of the most astute businessmen in the whole world, predicts that Bitcoin could reach 500,000 by 2025, which is just, you know, well, that's next year. So that's within the next 15 months. Kathy Wood from ARK Investment is the most accurate predictor of the price of Bitcoin, and she says that it can reach 1.5 million by 2030. And in fact, she's now just revised that. She says that it can reach 3.8 million by 2030. Okay, she obviously knows some things that we don't know, because that's a big revisement. But that's what the experts are saying. So the challenge about Bitcoin, I'm not going to go into the what the challenges of Bitcoin are, but they have been multiple, and they're built into the system. And what it means is that over a period of time, the amount of money you earn from Bitcoin mining decreases. Okay, you put the same effort in this year as you did last year, and you'll only make half as much profit. So they're ripe for somebody coming along and saying, we can help you improve this situation. And that's what BitHarvest has done with its Bit Booster. And it is all done through technology. And the forerunner of this technological quantum leap is a company called BitHarvest. The CEO and one of the co-founders, Logan Lee, has had a decades-long career in the financial industry. Okay, and very clever chap. He's the one that raised the capital, a huge amount of capital to get BitHarvest up and running. When you look at the viability of a company, you want to look at their startup capital, and this has been an absolute dream. They had enough money to get things up and running, and since then they've made profits. And so, you know, the whole thing's up and running really, really well. There's no danger from most businesses that fail within 5 years, and the biggest reason they fail is lack of investment capital. This company has that all sewn up. It's got a tremendous repute of management. It's got a tremendous product. It's got a great situation. It's got all the staff it needs to run itself as a proper corporation. And so, you know, this is as solid as a company can get. I've never seen a company this solid, certainly not in the online space. The CTO and co-founder is the legendary Lenny Herlin. I don't know if you know Lenny Herlin. I've known of him for quite a while, maybe 4 or 5 years. He worked originally in the Ethereum core development project. So the development of Ethereum is largely Lenny's brainchild. Therefore, you know, I think it's safe to say he knows a lot about how cryptocurrencies work and what they need to do to succeed. And so Logan had his own mining farm, albeit a small one, and he wanted to do some particular things to make his mining farm more successful. And he met Lenny. Lenny's in Poland, and they were talking. And Lenny said, "Well, I've developed this software and this idea, and this is how this works." And Logan said, "Well, that sounds interesting, because that's exactly what I'm looking for." And so they got together and set up BitHarvest. So the two between them are an unstoppable force. And we also have a world-class development team, and here's some of our development team. And if you were to look up the credentials of any of these people individually, they are all, you know, they're all, I was going to say famous, but they've all credentialed in their own right. They all have tremendous reputation in the industry for what they can do. So they put together a first-class development team. The company recently earned its MSB license with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Agency in the US government. I love it when people say, "Is this legitimate?" You know, and then you say, "Well, they've got their MSB license and they're working with the the Financial Crimes Enforcement Agency. So you tell me, what do you think? BitHarvest achieved this within the first 2 months of opening its doors. Very few companies operating in this space have achieved this. I look at hundreds of businesses, literally hundreds of businesses. Very few of them have their MSB license. And it's a symbol of the company's transparency and openness. So here's the license. This is in the company literature. When you join, in fact, before you join, you can have a look at this. You can go to the website, the FinCEN's website, and look up that number, and it'll tell you that MSB license being granted to BitHarvest. So, it's all out in the open. The company headquarters is an 8,000 square foot office complex in Kuala Lumpur, and it's just a huge office space. It's, it houses staff, it houses the bit boosters. Mostly what it does is it hosts people like you and I, and we're all free to go there. I've been involved with several different companies, and they say, "Oh, you can come and visit us," but they never tell us where the offices actually are. Whereas here we have almost every week we have groups of people like you and I going to the offices, walking around, meeting people, finding out about things, having meetings with the management, presentations, looking in the bit booster farm, and so on. Okay, so it's all available for you to go and have a look at. A number of different spaces on this slide. Some other different spaces on this slide. They've got a large theatre conference room. They've got breakout rooms, boardrooms, small small offices where you just bounce a few ideas around. So tremendous space. 8,000 square feet is not a small space at all. And it's not necessarily for them. They don't need that much space. It's for you. So go see it. If you get to Kuala Lumpur, then they will look after you. They'll put you up in a hotel for 3 nights. They'll show you around the offices. They'll do your transfers to and from the office. Okay. And then there are certain awards, a certain criteria you can hit, and they will actually pay your flights to Kuala Lumpur as well as all this other stuff. Okay, and there's a team of people right now in Phuket on a leadership training with the company, learning all about what's coming down the pipe, because this business is here for a long time and is growing. So individual groups are welcome to the head office to check it out. And I think we have a video here. I'll just play the first few seconds of this. Okay, I'm going to stop it there because I don't want to sort of go on about this too much, but just suffice to say, these are all people like you and I that went along to the head office to just kick the tires to make sure it works, and of course it does. They wouldn't invite people along if it didn't. So the company is a great advocate for the whole industry. They exhibit at all the different crypto exhibitions worldwide. The crypto space, the crypto industry is massively cynical. If you come up with a good idea and you start talking to people in this space, you'll have 95,000 people ready to tell you why it won't work and to shout you down. Okay, these people are out in that industry all day, every day, talking to people at these exhibitions, giving talks themselves. So they're up at the front of the room giving the talks, and people are loving them. And in fact, so much so that they actually got a mining farm as a client from being at one of these exhibitions. Somebody came and talked to them, and they told them how the Bit Booster works, and they said, "That sounds brilliant. That's what my mining farm needs." And within a few days, they'd signed a contract to work with that mining farm. Okay, so these people are clever people, massively cynical. So you don't get out there in the industry talking to people. You and I think we're cynical. There's nothing like these people that run some of these companies. Okay, so you can rest assured they've been kicked every which way from Sunday. And the whole thing works, it all hangs together. So we won an award in Dubai. I think it was the first expo they did after launch. And I'm not going to go in, is that a video? No, it's not. But basically, we won an award from our peers, from other companies in the industry, from people who know how the crypto industry works from the inside outwards. They're advertising the Blockchain Life 2024. There's a lot more expositions. I've not got any other slides on here than this one. And BitBoost has won awards, so let's have a look at that. No, I'm not going to show you that video. So let's see if I can. I don't know if you can see that very well.
We did it. BitBooster just took home the Best Cryptocurrency Mining Service Provider Award here at the Dubai Crypto Expo. This recognition is a huge honor, but for us, this is just the beginning. We are committed to relentless innovation, pushing the boundaries of technology to transform the whole mining industry. We believe that our BitBooster, through continuous breakthrough, will lead the charge towards a more efficient and sustainable mining future.
Okay, so just to recap, Bitcoin mining farms lose revenue every 4 years. For mining farms to embrace new technology is expensive and slow. Mining farms need an additional boost to their earnings. The Bitcoin network was becoming slower and slower over time. The Bitcoin network needed a boost with transaction speeds. There are millions of people who need to make additional income, and the solution is BitHarvest and the deployment of BitBoosters. So that's kind of the short story. Have I got time to show this? I haven't, but there's a great video about the boosters and what they do. You can find this on YouTube. Just look for BitHarvest BitBoosters, and you'll find this is one of the videos that pops up. So the company has basically designed and manufactured a USB device called a BitBooster. Its real name is a Bitcoin Mining Booster AI70 Pro. We just call it the booster. And basically what we do is we buy those boosters. The company plugs them into their booster farm in Kuala Lumpur, where they connect via VPN with our mining farm clients. And what we do, if I'd have shown you the video, you would have seen that how it works in the sense of how it boosts the earnings of the mining rigs. But basically what it does is it stops them from working on erroneous data. So if the data is not absolutely correct, then our booster kicks it out before the machine actually starts working on it. Also, our BitBooster organizes the data in priority order. So the easiest transaction to do gets pushed to the front. Okay, because they get paid the same if it takes them longer and it's more complex, they get paid the same. So we just do the easy ones and let other people worry about the more complex ones. And the other thing it does is sorry, how do I explain hash aggregation in very simple terms? Okay. No, it doesn't matter. I'll come back to that in a few seconds. Another thing it does is it regulates the electricity being used by the mining farm. So if the mining farm isn't, if the mining rig hasn't got any work to do, then it turns down the power. And then when there's work to do, it turns up the power. Saves a huge amount of money for the mining farms. One of the clever things it does is it recognizes that the vast majority of calculations in the Bitcoin transactions are exactly the same. If they're not exactly the same, they're the same maybe 90%. So what the booster does is it does that 90% of the calculation, and then at the last minute it slots in the data that's particular to that transaction. So the same transactions can be completed in a batch very, very quickly, giving us an advantage over these mining machines that just keep chugging through the data. Okay, so our machines are the brains, and the mining machines are the brawn. Well, so what we've tried to do is to stop them just chugging on mindlessly through the data. We try to help organize the data so that they'll have more success and well, that's it, yeah, more success creating Bitcoin. So there's a picture of the booster. Sure you can see that, and a little bit of a description of the mining rigs it works with. It's pretty much all of them. There are very few mining rigs that are configured in a way that we can't work with them. So by connecting their mining rigs to our boosters, it allows mining farms to increase their productivity by 100% to 300%. What that means is double to quadruple their output. And then what we've agreed with them is if we do that for them, the additional profit is shared out in an equitable fashion. So they're responsible for whatever they're doing now. And if we help them improve it, then we get a share of that. And to me, that sounds like a great deal. It kind of brings it home to me how real this opportunity is, because we're not trying to take anything away from the miners. We're saying, if we help you improve your situation, then you pay us. So if we don't help them improve their situation, we don't get paid. It's a real no-brainer for the mining farm. Why wouldn't they agree to letting us do that? And of course they do. So the way the money's split up is 60% stays with the mining farm, 30% comes to us. Okay, the people that own the boosters, if you like, and 10% goes to the company BitHarvest. Now, in a couple of days, this is changing. This is going to be 5% it goes to BitHarvest, and then the other 95% is shared out in kind of a similar proportion. But it means we do get an extra few percent into our system to pay additional bonuses we've just invented. Okay, but it also means the mining farm receives more money. So in the same way that Airbnb is the largest accommodation provider in the world but doesn't own any properties, and Uber is the largest transportation company in the world but doesn't own any vehicles, BitHarvest is the largest mining operation on the planet but doesn't own a single mining rig. Okay, so that's kind of an analogy, if you like. So this is the core technology, the BitHash, hash strategy optimization, hash aggregation and filtering, and so on. Okay, so this is just a bit of a description of how instead of doing things slowly and crunching through the numbers, we organize it better. Okay, and then we get rid of erroneous data and only work on data that's good quality, that's going to produce a result. And if we do this right, then we're more likely to be the first people to solve the crypto calculation and therefore win the Bitcoin. And we are good at it. Our technology does work. We are producing a lot of Bitcoin every single day. Again, I'm not going to go through these slides because I've just got one eye on the time, and also this hasn't been set up properly in the sense of I'm working on the wrong screen, not with an activated version of my presentation, but just with a PPTX. If you don't know the difference, don't worry about it. What it means is that all of my good interactive stuff, expansions, morphing and so on, isn't working. So I'm not going to go into this. But I will probably show this one. It won't come up into full screen.
Discover how BitHarvest's Bitcoin booster mining, the BitBooster, enhances your mining efficiency. Introducing the BitHash protocol by BitHarvest, a breakthrough powered by machine learning and AI. It features two core technologies: hash aggregation and filtering and hash strategy optimization, revolutionizing your mining process. Step 1. Activating BitBooster. When a BitHarvest miner purchases the Bitcoin Mining Booster AI70 Pro, or BitBooster, it connects to our partner mining farms. Activating the BitHash protocol, it begins to accelerate mining efficiency dramatically. How does BitBooster work? Firstly, hash aggregation and filtering. This process aggregates hashes from various machines and filters out false hashes, eliminating redundancy. It is like a server room where big data is analyzed for precision. Secondly, hash strategy optimization. This strategy analyzes aggregated hashes to solve the SHA-256 algorithm more effectively. Unlike traditional methods of random hash computations, BitHash protocol optimizes the sequence clockwise, anti-clockwise, or patterned. It's a shift from adding ones to make 10 to adding 3s and a 1. Step 2, increased mining efficiency. With the Bitcoin Mining Booster AI-70 Pro, each unit can aggregate about 70 TH per second, offering tailored solutions. This innovation boosts efficiency by an astonishing 100% to 300% in our partner mining farms. Step 3, additional income for BitBooster miners. As efficiency soars, BitBooster miners reap the benefits. The increase in Bitcoin rewards, between 100% and 300%, is directly passed on to our BitBooster miners. BitHarvest, revolutionizing Bitcoin mining, enhancing efficiency, maximizing return.
Okay, so in return, we're paid a proportion of the increased productivity of Bitcoin every day. I'm not going to go into this example of improved productivity, but just to point out basically that for the amount of money it costs to buy and run one mining farm, you can buy and run 10 or 12 bit boosters. So although each booster makes less than one mining rig, the aggregate of your 10 or 15 boosters, 10 or 12 boosters, means that you're making a lot more money than if you owned the one mining rig. Okay, so that's what this slide's about, but I'm not going to go into it in any detail. Now, the security of all of this, because people often say, well, what about the security? Well, the company is rock solid. I'm really happy about that. The boosters are tremendous. What gives us our security is that we get paid in Bitcoin. And so we can take that Bitcoin and save it for as long as we want until it reaches the price that we want. So the amount of money you earn in Bitcoin from your booster today, if you keep that for 5 years, it'll be worth, instead of you earning $3 or $4 or $5 today, it would be the equivalent of $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in 5 years' time, or 6 years' time, or 4 years' time. Okay, so there's no time scales on this, but it's just that the security is that you're being paid in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, as we've already discussed, and all the experts agree, is going through the roof, is going up in price. And you only have to look at people who a few years ago said, "I don't like Bitcoin. It's a scam. It's not. I'm not going to get involved in it." And now all of a sudden, every country in the world is buying Bitcoin. Most major corporations are buying Bitcoin. Sorry, Walter, do you want to stop that in the chat? Are you there, Walter?
Sorry, I looked away.
Okay, I've stopped it, but find out who it is and get rid of them. They're just an idiot. Yeah, so I forgot what I was saying. So our security is the price of Bitcoin. Big companies, big corporations, wealthy people are all buying Bitcoin. Pension fund companies, hedge fund managers, these people know what they're talking about when it comes to money. They're all saying to people, all of their clients, you need to have some Bitcoin in your retirement portfolio. You need to have some in your hedge fund portfolio. Okay, so if they're all doing that, surely we should be doing the same. That's my tuppence worth. I believe we should. So to recap, the boosters improve mining efficiency. The company get a share. The company get a share of that increased profit. We get a share of that increased profit. Some of the profit we receive is passive, and an equal share of the pot going to each active booster in the booster farm. Some of the profit we receive is active income and shared out between teams that are taking part in the optional referral marketing program. Okay, so that's building a passive earning business. Basically, you just, it's very easy to do. You simply register. and yeah, you register, buy BitBoosters, and start receiving Bitcoin into your Bitcoin wallet on the second day. In your account page, well, we don't need to worry about how to get the money out of BitHarvest, but it's as simple as that. You get involved, you buy a BitBooster, and you're earning passive income. Boosters cost $1,000 per booster. But the thing is, you pay once, you earn forever. Some people buy one to get started. Some people buy 5, 10. We've had people buy 50. We've had people buy 1,000. Okay, we've had people buy 100. Personally, I bought as much as I could afford to, and then I'm adding to it slowly, as quickly as I can. I'm adding to it. You can buy a 10% share of a booster at $100 per share. And you can buy as many shares or whole boosters as you want. Okay, so there's no limit to how many boosters you can buy if you want to. And of course, the more boosters you have, the bigger your passive income is. Notwithstanding, is going to continue to grow over the years. So there's a couple of ways of looking at the passive income here, and one is that you buy a booster for $1,000, and the price of Bitcoin is $70, so $70,000. So you're going to earn around about $5-ish, which means that based on the $1,000 you spent, your return is about 0.5% per day. But if the price of Bitcoin goes to 140,000, which it definitely will, then you're going to be earning about $10 per day, which is 1% per day on return on your $1,000. And when the price of Bitcoin goes to 280,000, that's 2% per day. And when the price of Bitcoin is $1 million, you're getting 8% per day based on this $1,000. Now, don't get confused, because I'm talking about a percentage between the Bitcoin and the $1,000 that you've spent. So don't get confused on that. It's not a direct comparison, because you've got to take into account the price of Bitcoin. But the point of this slide is to say, as the price of Bitcoin goes up, so your return on investment, dare I say return on investment, but your returns increase both in dollars and in percentage terms. Another way of looking at it. Oh, sorry, that's the same slide. Another way of looking at it, if instead of spending your Bitcoin, you accumulate it. So now what's happening is you're going to add more and more and more boosters. So if you have one booster and your price, the price of Bitcoin is $1 million, so the price of Bitcoin is going to remain $1 million, then the value of your accumulated Bitcoin is 200,000. If you've got 5 boosters, your accumulated Bitcoin will be worth $1 million. If you've got 10 boosters, your accumulated Bitcoin is worth 2 million, and so on. So it's like a 3-dimensional arrangement. The amount of Bitcoin you get goes up the amount of Bitcoin you get increases, so you have more Bitcoin, but also the price of Bitcoin is going up. So the combination of both of them is a massive growth in the dollar value of your Bitcoin holdings. Okay, so hopefully that point comes across from those slides. That's the same slide. So you can increase your holdings by reinvesting your Bitcoin on a regular basis, and typically you can double your booster holdings every 6 months by reinvesting your Bitcoin. So you can buy boosters and earn passively. Pay once and earn forever. I absolutely love that. You pay once and earn forever. Buy more boosters to increase your daily earnings. Accumulate Bitcoin to act as a nest egg when Bitcoin hits the right price, and you decide what price that is. I know people that have bought a Bitcoin, now they're going to wait for it to go to $1 million, and then they'll cash it in. Personally, I think that's an absolute waste. I think that they should be taking that money and buying boosters with it. And then when the price of Bitcoin gets to $1 million, they wouldn't just have $1 million, they would have many, many millions of dollars. But what do I know? I'm not here to give advice. So you reinvest your earnings to compound your earnings potential, and you withdraw your Bitcoin to your external wallet on a regular basis. Don't leave it lying around in the company back office. It's your Bitcoin. Get it out of there. Get it somewhere safe. In order to grow the company's influence very quickly on a specified budget, the company's introduced a referral marketing program. The marketing plan or compensation plan rewards leaders for their success in expanding the company. And there are two income streams. One is you get paid on a one-off sales commission based on the sales of boosters that we influence. So if you get in and introduce somebody who buys some boosters, you get paid a percentage of those sales. And we also get paid an ongoing residual income based on the number of active boosters we've influenced. So those boosters that your friends got in and bought, they're earning Bitcoin every day, and a little bit of that Bitcoin is coming to you every single day. So of course, if you've got thousands upon thousands of boosters in your group, you've only earned the sales commission once, but this Bitcoin that you earn every single day carries on forever, and it can become very, very large amount of money. So this is about how the compensation plan rewards us for these two activities. At the moment, we've got 7 levels of compensation: customer, up to 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, all the way up to 6-star. In the next couple of days, we're going to have 2 more levels, 7-star and 8-star. So look out for that change. Each level is rewarded with a different percentage for their one-off sales commissions, and each level is rewarded for with a different percentage for their ongoing residual income. So the further up the chart you go, the more money you make from the sales. The further up the chart you go, the more money you make every day from the booster activity in your group. So I'm not going to go into this, I'm afraid. I don't want to talk about it for more than a few seconds, except to point out here that you've got down the side here, you've got the different levels. Here are the qualifications. If you do these things, then you get paid these incomes over here. And the further up the chart you go, the greater the referral income. Further up the chart you go, the greater the ranking income. That's all I want to talk about with that. I'm not going to go into any sort of detail. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. So as the boosters in your group generate Bitcoin, a small proportion of those earnings will accrue to you. And it's a differential bonus. It's paid on the difference between your ranking percentage and the ranking percentage of each of your groups. Let's look at a very simple example. So you're at 15%, Group A is at 10%, difference is 5%. And if their volume is 5,000, then your income is 250. If you're at 20%, they're at 10%, the difference is 10%. And if their volume is 5,000, your income is 500. And if you're at 30% and they're at 10%, differential is 20%. If their group volume is 5,000, you get 1,000 per day. Okay, so it just shows that your income is dependent on your ranking percentage, not on what these other people are doing. If you want to make more money, you work a bit harder, you build a bigger business. Okay, these people, let them do what they want to do. If they want to be staying at 5,000 volume, absolutely fine. You want more money, you go and build your business. Don't worry about what they're doing. Of course, if they want your help to build a bigger business, then of course you're going to do that. But a lot of people think that you're going to get rich based on what other people are doing. No, you get rich based on what you're doing, not what they're doing. If they're going to do what they want to do, so you have to do what you want to do. I'm not going to go into same ranking income. I'm not going to go into potential incomes, except to say that at the different star levels, you can see your Bitcoin accumulation over the 5 years increases dramatically as you move up through these different star levels. 200,000 almost at 1-star, up to 33 million for 6-star. That's if you save all of the Bitcoin you receive from your own boosters and the boosters in your group, save it all up for 5 years. And the price of Bitcoin is $1 million in 5 years. So I'm not saying Kathy would, I'm just saying $1 million in 5 years. And that's kind of what you'd be looking at if you save all your Bitcoin between now and 5 years' time. And if that doesn't get you excited, check your pulse. There may be something for us to worry about. The compensation plan and team building, so that's the same slide. So all of this moves up and expands automatically when I do my presentation properly. So registration getting started, we're not going to worry about that. there are videos for you to look at. There are people who can help you. The people you get involved with will help you do all of these things. I'm very aware of the time. We want to get this finished up kind of nowish. Many people bemoan the fact they've missed out on all the great trends over the last 50 years. There were opportunities to buy properties at rock bottom prices back in the 80s. Most people didn't. There were opportunities to get involved in the computer revolution in the 90s. Most people didn't. There were opportunities to get involved in the internet revolution in the late 90s and early noughties. Most people didn't. There were opportunities to get involved in the crypto revolution from 2009 onwards. Most people didn't, and most people still haven't. Okay, we're still working hard to get 3% adoption across the whole world. We're involved in crypto. We think everybody knows everything about crypto. No, most people haven't got a clue. Because of BitHarvest, it's not too late to make personal wealth and generational wealth with Bitcoin. So if somebody feels they've missed the boat with crypto, not at all. Get on this boat, because this is the big one. This is what levels the playing field, allows us to generate our own personal and generational wealth. So am I going to talk about anything else? Yes, this is Michael Saylor. Some of you know Michael Saylor. He is the person in the world, the individual in the world who owns more Bitcoin than any other individual in the world. I'm not sure if he owns more than all the corporations, but he certainly owns a huge amount of Bitcoin. And he's saying that it's going to reach 10 million per coin. Now, he doesn't say when, but it will reach 10 million per coin. And he's a smart guy because he agrees with me. So, that's a smart move on his part. I think
that's right. Anybody that agrees with you is smart.
Okay, and we've also got, who's this one? Wall Street Journal. So, not Wall Street Journal, the Wall Street analysts. They predict 500,000 price target. So they think it's going to soar by between 635% to 5,480%. They don't say when, but they do say that it's going to soar, and they say that it's going to be worth $500,000. Now, when it gets to $500,000, just ask yourself, would you like to have more Bitcoin or less Bitcoin? Very, very simple question. If you want more Bitcoin, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to go buy it? Are you going to go start getting paid in Bitcoin for your goods and services? You're now, you need that money to pay your bills anyway. So, or are you going to get involved in something with very, very low startup costs, and it's going to provide Bitcoin for you every single day from now forever? I don't know. I mean, it's your call, but personally, I know which one sounds best for me. This one is Peter Brandt. Some of you know Peter Brandt, tremendously successful businessman. He reveals Bitcoin may reach 150,000 by 2025. I agree with him. Jack Dorsey. Many of you know Jack Dorsey, and he's predicted that Bitcoin will reach $1 million by 2030. Now, that's not as good as Cathy Wood, but $1 million by 2030, I'll take that. That'll be great. That'll make my Bitcoin portfolio worth a lot of money. And in fact, Jack Dorsey is completely sold out to this because he's got a new business called Block. I don't know if you know that. And he's committed 10% of his profit every single month. He's going to buy Bitcoin with 10% of his profit. How many people do you know that have got, huge businesses, multi-million dollars coming in, and they say, of all the money I make this month, I'm going to buy 10% of my money is going to go into investing in Bitcoin. This guy is a clever cookie. He knows a lot about Bitcoin. He knows a lot about how to make money. So the point of me telling you this is we should all be doing the same. Surely we should all be doing the same. We bemoan the fact that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And then when we get the chance to do something about it, we go, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. Well, who cares if it's a good idea? Just do it. That's what Jack Dorsey would do. Okay. In fact, I don't. Yeah. I won't go into that. I was going to quote from the Bible, but I won't. Okay. So come and join BitHarvest now. If you're not already in, get back to the person who introduced you. Get back to the person who sent you this video, and come and join BitHarvest. You will have a great experience and you'll be making Bitcoin every single day. So we're going to go into the questions and testimonials, particularly anybody who's recently joined BitHarvest. You know, what did you see? What did you like? What convinced you to give it a go, kick the tires? Are you committed to that, or are you still sort of are you still trying to figure out if it's going to work or not? So we'd love to hear from you. I don't think we'll get that on this recording, Walter, will we? Because we kind of run out of time. Because somebody's been talking too much. But yeah, welcome to BitHarvest. Get back to the person who invited you to see this presentation. Get your questions answered. Get their referral link and start your own highly profitable Bitcoin boosting business today. Wow, that's a nice little alliteration there. Yeah, so start today. Today is all we've got. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to come back to the room and I'm going to hand it back to Uncle Walter, who hopefully is going to talk for a while I get something to drink.
All right. Well, do you want to bring people on and give some testimonials? And then
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. So yeah, if there's anybody here who has wants to put down onto the recording here the fact that you know what they were doing when they looked at Bitcoin, why they were looking at it, what they liked, what they didn't like, what they were suspicious of, how they overcame that suspicion, why they got involved, what they hope to do with it in the future. You know, what your feelings are about it right now. No feelings don't pay the bills, but you know, what are you feeling about it? Do you think it was a good decision or a bad decision? And just, you know, take a minute or so and come and talk to us. Anybody at all? Just put your hand up and come and talk to us. And I see that Wendell. Oh, sorry, Wendell. I thought you put your hand up. I'm going to unmute you,
his hand up. I know he will.
Yeah, because we want to hear from you on your ongoing quest to replace your wife's income with BitHarvest income. So come and talk to us, my friend.
Hey guys, yeah, no, I didn't put my hand up, but yeah, if you're gonna drag me in, I guess I have to come kicking and screaming. But yeah, you always try to hear from new people, but I do see there's a few new people on the call who don't know the testimony, and I do have 2 slides I want to share as a part of this. But just in the quick testimony part, it's been 9. Yeah, this is week 9, so come the weekend it'll be week 10. So I'm documenting every week from just adding BitHarvest to what we were already doing. I love and believe in multiple streams of income. I love passive and residual income, where it don't matter if I feel like working or in the mood or if I'm healthy or not. It just keeps coming. Only makes sense in the world we live in today. It is 2024, not 1900. So when good things come along, take advantage. Just my opinion, not financial advice. So 9 weeks, to put it in a nutshell, our passive residual income is coming in about $130 something a week. Added BitHarvest with the Bit Boosters. And in 9 weeks, regardless, I'm not talking about commission, I'm not talking about the icing, just the cake, the part I control. By grabbing some boosters and then grabbing some more and then grabbing some more throughout the month of August, I started calculating in September, what is this going to do? Here it is, week 9. We went from $5.80 something cents between me and my wife, $100 each, to now having multiple boosters we got in that time frame, which of course we use the profits. Everything from the Bitcoin to the USDT, we use it all and just keep rolling it back in until January. So we have a strategy. We're going to just roll everything in through the rest of the year. Come January, we'll reassess, start pulling out some Bitcoin or what have you. And from that, we are over $1,055 a week. Not in the whole process. That's just the Bit Booster part of our $134 a week, which is now $1,284 because of $1,055 of that being just the boosters themselves. That still blows my mind to say that out loud. In 9 months, we've surpassed our passive income, has surpassed my wife's working income, that she's been at the job. She likes the job and all that. She wants out now, so this is perfect. Surpassed her income by over 100%. So we've doubled her income in about 8 weeks. Here it is, no, 7. Yeah, 7 weeks, I think. 9 weeks, she got a pay raise 2 weeks ago for the year. It took 1 more week to surpass her income, including the pay raise. So in 1 week, we surpassed what it took her a year to get from the company. I mean, there's like no reason in my mind not to do this. I mean, again, is it a risk? Yes, everything's a risk. Walk outside, you might not come back home. Like literally, everything's a risk. But to take, and if I can share, I'll show you why we did what we did. Can I share a screen?
I believe you can, yes.
Okay. Host disabled. Nope, not yet.
Yeah, Andy, you have to just set him as a co-host.
Oh, I'm the host, am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is why I did what I did. I'm always looking for opportunities. I always said, boy, I wish I was alive when some of these other inventions came out way before I was born. Now, when I see things here, I take advantage of a lot of things. Most don't work, but the few that when they do, oh my goodness. And this, I believe, is going to be huge, in my opinion, not financial advice, for people who jump on what BitHarvest is allowing us to do, these bit boosters. Am I good?
I'm making you co-host as easy as we're doing that.
Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, so check this out. This is why I did what I did. Is this number? The emotion and all that, you got to stop doing that. That holds a lot of people up. All I'm doing is the numbers. So you guys should be able to see my screen now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Every currency, just hear the numbers. Every currency in the history of man, period. Every last one of them have gone to zero. Only the ones that are here, they're all going to go to zero as well. That's not going to change because we don't like what I just said or we think some different way. Irrelevant to the point. Go back and look. Every currency in history goes to zero. So the dollar, the pound, the yen, the euro, unless they make some adjustments, are going to do the exact same thing. So what did I do? I took this, guaranteed to go where? To zero. I was like, well, if I take this and do this, what's that percentage so far? Bitcoin is 15, not 150, not 5,000. Bitcoin is 15 years old. It is up 116 million%. And nowhere near the numbers that they're calling for it to go to. So what does my brain say? Oh, why don't I take the guaranteed loss, put some of that into something? It's still a currency. Don't get me wrong. I'm not running around saying it's money. That's only gold and silver. But it's a currency. But wait a minute. Could it be the first currency that's going to continue to grow and go higher and higher and could potentially become money? In my opinion, not financial advice, yes. So I'm taking the guaranteed loss, the lie. I'm turning it into a new currency that could potentially become money. Definitely we can see proof that it's going higher and higher, no guarantees. So I'm just exchanging some of my lie, the one guaranteed to go to zero, for one that has the potential to become money. Even if it don't become money, it just goes higher and higher and higher and higher. So for me, much like Dempsey, I'm looking at starting in 2025 using these bit boosters to have at least 10% of my net worth. I'm talking about everything, the house, the precious metals, dollars, whatever, gold, silk, whatever we own. I plan on having at least 10% start turning into Bitcoin using these bit boosters. Because again, all I got to do is get the booster. I don't have to get Bitcoin. I just get the boosters and let the boosters make me Bitcoin. I bought a product that's going to make me wealthier. That's it.
That's excellent. Excellent way of looking at it. You know, I'm sure a lot of people will relate to that.
Yeah, it is a really good way to look at it.
You're absolutely right. The whole monetary system in the world was set up so that all the money flows towards the wealthy elite, and what that means for the rest of us is over time our money gets devalued. So to have something like this appear almost at the last minute, almost too late, is just is beyond a dream. Really, it's just I don't know. It's just so fortuitous because if Bitcoin didn't come along, then what would we have done? We'd all be in a position where our money continues to get devalued and devalued, and we'd have no other recourse. We'd just be, we'd be destroyed financially. We'd be destroyed along with everybody else. But now we have a choice. What you do with that choice, people, is entirely up to you.
And going off of what Andy just said, just look at the screen. I mean, he doesn't have to say anything. Walter doesn't have to say anything. It's numbers. Look at the screen. This is what the dollar has done. So all that crap about the dollar and the euro against each other, they go higher, blah, blah. Does this look to you like it's going higher? You can pull up the euro chart. You can pull up the dong, the wong, the lily, boom, boom, whatever. Pull up whatever you want. They all do this. So now we have a way to take, like he just said, we can take this, turn it into something that is doing the complete opposite. Look at the charts. It's complete opposite. Why on earth would we not take advantage? Is it a risk? I keep saying yes, it's a risk. You want to see a worse risk? That foolishness. Take that one, not financial advice, my opinion. We're actually doing it, and let it go higher and higher in the opposite direction, potentially for a long time. Your children's children potentially down the road. As in, this won't be here unless they do something like attach it to Bitcoin or some kind of gold standard. That's the only thing, reattach it to something of value, but this is not going to end well. That's just my 2 cents.
Even when the dollar was attached to the gold standard, it was still decreasing in value.
Look, yep, right there.
That's the way the monetary system is set up.
Yep. It's set up for exactly what Andy said. It's designed for the funds to flow to a few, and the multiples get sucked dry because they know what's going on and they put it where it needs to do, and they do this and do that. The majority doesn't know what to do with it, so they just ride this wave. Man, this stuff gives me the heebie-jeebies every time. So it's like right here, and it's so difficult sometimes for people to just look at something and say, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that one's going down, that one's going up. Yeah, I want some of that. Instead, it's a whole lot of, I got to do that. Let me check on it. Let me go do this. I'm like, how in the world are you not looking at the numbers? It's the emotion of it. I don't know. Just let the numbers speak.
Yeah, you're right, Wendell. I find it very difficult when I'm explaining to people and they ask stupid things, and I'm thinking all this stuff, and I'm thinking you don't really have a choice. You either you and your family in the future become poor, destitute. You have nothing. Somebody said you'll have nothing and be happy. So that's your option: have nothing and be happy, or make a decision and do. But it's so difficult because I get so up on my toes about this that we've got something everybody needs, and I don't want to ram everything. I don't want to go bleh, the first 10 minutes I'm talking to somebody, just try and implant everything I know into their heads. I have to just calm down and say, so do you want to make some more Bitcoin, or So there we go. So hard just to rein yourself in, isn't it?
Yeah, and for me, I'm married, so I can't just run around and do what I want to. If I could, our situation fund would be at zero. But because I have a wife and she's the brains of the operation is what I call her, I got what I could get out of her. How about that? It took a few stages, but throughout that first month, I got what I could get out of her. And now we're watching it just grow. We keep compounding it. So now we're up to 30. We're closing in on 39 machines now in this process. So we're just constantly rolling it. And you'll see the fruits and all that starting in January. But yeah, if I was single, yeah, that account would be at zero right now. I'd be putting some back, but I'm married. So stay within your boundaries. Again, find your numbers. No one on here is telling you to take all your eggs and put them in one basket. No one on here is telling you that. But you got to find where you're comfortable or where your level of belief is and go with that. And then just use that. If you do that, you'll be fine. If you go above that, that's where you're going to run into problems and then blame everybody else. Don't let that happen.
That's great, Wendell. Thanks so much, my friend.
Absolutely.
And your story about your wife and you replacing her income after only a few weeks. I know that a lot of people are inspired by that. So please keep us updated with that. That's a great story.
Is there somebody else that would like to tell an experience on how much they're enjoying BitHarvest? Before we go on to the next stage.
Or somebody who's just looking at this for the first time and they're saying, what was that all about? I've got some questions. Let's ask some questions.
All right, so I'm gonna stop the recording then, and we go talk to the individual that gave you this video. They care about you. They want you to have a good experience, just like they're having a good experience. Go talk to them. Go create your ID and get your account going. I would encourage you also to buy a booster. Look at your situation and determine what you can do and take action. If you don't take action, you're actually really losing money every day because the power of the money that you're in, the currency that you have, is going down. And so every day you are losing the ability to buy stuff. Okay? You're losing the ability to pay for stuff. Go take action. Because if you take action, you now have a way to make money. You now have a way to circumvent the lowering price of the dollar, and you now have an ability to make money. You now have an ability to get out of the rat race. Your friend cares about you. That's why he gave you this video. Go talk to him. Have a great day. Have a good experience. Just like the rest of us. Make some withdrawals and have a good experience. Talk to you in a bit.